Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to see if anybody else logs in today. We're going to be talking about plant-based diets and why I'm not a fan for most people. Welcome to my live coaching session. I am Coach Erica, your friendly and fabulous online personal trainer and menopause coach. For those of you who don't know me, most of you do. For those of you who don't know me, I own Driven Fitness. Been in the fitness industry for the last 17 plus years, offering personal training and small group training to mostly women over 40. And today I wanted to talk about my personal journey as a vegetarian and why I'm no longer a vegetarian and why I don't recommend it for most people. And people they have very strong feelings about plant-based diets, and it is all the rage now, and everyone should do plant-based, blah, blah, blah. It's better for the environment and all this stuff, which I don't totally believe. I shared a book a while ago called I think it's called The Sacred Cow. That is a really good book on meat versus plant-based and the merits of both. And they take all of the arguments about each one. So is plant-based really better for your health? Is plant-based really better for the environment? Is it really better morally, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a great book by two authors. I'll post the link again in the comments after we post this in case you're interested in reading it or listening to it online. It's a great book. So I'm just going to talk about my personal story. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. What you want to do is what you want to do. I'm just going to talk about my personal story and why I think that for many people, you might want to think twice about it. So for those of you who have met me in the last 10 years, don't maybe know that I was a vegetarian for 15 years. For the time I was 15 years old to 30, I was a vegetarian. As I hit 30, was going towards that end of it, I was near vegan. So for those years, I didn't eat meat. And why did I become a vegetarian? I read a book in high school called Diet for a New America, which is an interesting book written many years ago about plant-based eating. And it was mostly about the state of the industry of the cattle and poultry industries, and obviously the not great conditions that animals live in are treated, which is still a problem today. I'm not arguing that. And that was the main reason I became a vegetarian, was a moral issue for animal welfare. But also I was 15. I was a really good kid. That was like the state of my rebellion. That's the most I did, was become a vegetarian in high school. I think it was a way for me to be different. So a lot of people have reasons for being vegetarians. Maybe it's health, maybe it's environmental, maybe it's religious or cultural, perhaps it's animal welfare. For me, what I noticed, and again, this was in the 90s, so the ability to get good quality vegetarian or vegan food was obviously a lot worse than it is today. It's a lot easier nowadays. Back then it was difficult. You really had to cook your own food. And that was the main reason that I was what I call a junk food vegetarian. So I used to just eat a lot of crap, like a lot of processed foods. And back then the processed foods were not great. Anything that was like a veggie burger that you bought at the store tasted pretty much like cardboard. But I was young, and then I was in college, and I wasn't going to be cooking my own food. So I would eat like a whole bunch of broccoli and nothing else, or a package of, chocolate frosted donuts, because that's what was available. So, and I will tell you, there were many times when I went out, even in my 20s, with other people who were vegetarians, and if there was nothing on the menu, we would just order French fries because there was no other option. That is not a healthy option. And that is one of my big issues with people who decide to go plant-based, is that just because it's plant-based doesn't mean that it's healthy. If it is heavily processed, there's a whole bunch of other crap in it to make it taste good. In my opinion, it's better off that if you're not doing it for a moral, religious reason, that you're eating a piece of chicken breast and rice and a vegetable that are all whole foods and not heavily processed, versus a whole bunch of stuff out of a package just because it says plant-based. So I was this kind of junk foodie vegetarian for a very long time. As I got older, I cooked more, but still not the best. because it takes a lot of time, effort, and concentration to make sure that you're getting all the nutrients you need as a vegetarian, not even talking about a vegan. So as a vegetarian, there's a lot of, there's several common issues with people who are plant-based. Number one is obviously a lack of protein in plant-based. Well, people will say, that's not true. You can get plenty of protein. Yes, you can. It's just more difficult, and you have to eat a lot more food. And the protein that you get from plants is not as bioavailable as the protein that you get from animal products. That means that your body, when you take it in, it doesn't absorb as well when it comes from a plant-based product as an animal-based product. So you can do it, it's just really hard. You have to think about combining different foods to create a complete protein. Like, for example, an egg, that's a complete protein. You get all the essential amino acids that you need from that egg. Or beef, an animal product has complete proteins. Plant products, it's very difficult to get complete proteins. You might get some of the amino acids, but not all of them. And you need all of them. But for example, you can combine rice and beans together in a meal or close together, and that will be a complete protein. However, again, this takes time and effort and thought. So my journey through, I became a personal trainer about 2/3 of the way through as I was a vegetarian athlete and trainer. I was training for marathons, and I just couldn't do it. I was so sick. I felt horrible. My blood pressure was very low. I ended up going to the doctor. My blood pressure was so low that they first thought that I needed more salt. So I started doing more salt in my diet. Turns out I also had some hormonal stuff going on, which had nothing to do with the diet. The other thing that was extremely low and was making me not feel good was my cholesterol. So we always hear about high cholesterol and how bad it is to have high cholesterol, but you do need cholesterol. It has important functions within the body. Mine was so low that my doctor told me I had to start eating meat products, animal products, to get my cholesterol up, or I was going to have some really significant health issues. So for me, I didn't have the time, energy, focus to eat in a way as a plant-based person that was healthy, that gave me all the nutrients that I need for the activity level I was doing in a way that I felt good about myself. I was very skinny fat. Sometimes they call it. I didn't have a lot of muscle mass. My body fat wasn't high, but I wasn't maintaining muscle because I just wasn't getting enough calories or enough protein. So after 15 years as a vegetarian, I decided to start eating meat. And I started with chicken. I never liked seafood. Now I eat everything, and I eat a very heavy meat diet. So people who know me now and then versus then, or vice versa, get very confused. But I'm so much healthier. My numbers when I go to the doctor are great. I don't have any cholesterol issues. I don't have any other issues. My numbers are very healthy, and I eat a ton of meat now, as well as grains and a mixed diet of vegetables and all that kind of stuff. So that's my personal story. 15 years, not great vegetarian in terms of cooking for myself. I became very sick. And so for me, I decided that there are other ways for me to morally make smart decisions about the meat that I'm eating, buying local, buying organic, all those things, versus just eliminating it from my diet. And that is the same reason why I don't like plant-based for most people, is because if you're going to do it properly, yes, it could be all those things. It could be healthier for you. It could be better for the environment. The jury's all still out on that stuff. But most people don't have the time. They don't have the time to prepare the meals with whole foods that are necessary to get all the macronutrients you need, to get the protein you need, especially as a woman in menopause or perimenopause, and to be eating a whole food diet. Instead, they'll be turning to the processed boxed foods, which in my opinion is not a good answer. So take that with a grain of salt, food for thought. If you have plant-based questions, go to a dietitian who can help you. If you're an active person, go to a sports dietitian who can help you so that you can make sure you're getting all the nutrients that you need, get the protein that you need. You're not short on the B vitamins and the protein that's so often iron, especially for women who are active. All those things that can be issues if you're plant-based. So I would love to hear your thoughts. pop them in the comments below. I will also later on, when this gets posted up on Facebook, hopefully I'll remember to post the link of the book that I just found very interesting on meat eating and the research behind it. And that's it. I hope everyone goes out and has a lovely, adventurous weekend, and I will see you next time.